Hi, folks. I'm talking to Rabbi Aharon Zerbib, who is the rabbi of Northwood United Synagogue. Like I'm sure all my colleagues, work incredibly hard at the moment. So first of all, thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
For those who don't know you, I guess just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit. You don't sound like you're from London originally.
Well, no, I'm not from London. I was born in Israel. Came to this beautiful community 5 years ago. But been around the world, mainly in Israel. Yeah, mainly in Israel. I was before rabbi in Bulgaria, chief rabbi of Bulgaria. We lived in France for 6 years, Gibraltar. But as I say, mainly in the holy city, Jerusalem, and outskirts of Jerusalem.
So is it strange having been a chief rabbi somewhere, coming to a more sort of traditional pulpit?
Well, it's different.
It sounds like a grand title. Is it?
It is more. Let's say that the position over there was more to do with many aspects of a Jewish community. So the shechita, burial, kashrus. A lot of that. Over here, it's more about personal relationship, one-on-one shiurim, lectures. Things like that. Different angle.
So let me ask you actually about that, because I myself was chief rabbi of Wales for 8 years, if such a position ever existed, which I don't think it does. And I never told Rabbi Sachs at the time, but I was the only rabbi in Wales. And when I came to London, it's interesting because the comment was made at the time by a few people that when you've had responsibility for things like you said, shechita and kashrut and mikveh and chevra kadisha matters and all the things that go with being the address for Yiddishkeit in your town, it's with all due respect to all our colleagues who work so hard, it's a very different experience from being a pulpit rabbi in a larger system. I remember when I came to Essex, the experience of walking into the local deli and not having to look behind the counter because
exactly
it was under my supervision was very strange. On the other hand, I guess I got older and I was quite happy to have less responsibility. Do you find it very strange that all these things now exist without you having to worry about them?
Well, maybe in the beginning, but now, of course, 5 years later, I'm used to it. It's a different. I'm putting my energy and effort in a different area, over there, I was struggling to live as a Jew. So it's all about the necessities of even, cheese, kosher cheese. We had to go to the factory, make cheese from scratch, go to Danone, milk factory, check all the ingredients. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of experience. We saw so many things that I don't, shechting 5 bulls or 5 cows and lambs. I don't think people, regular people have that experience. So that was really good. But in the end, learning, teaching, growing, I grew a lot in England too. So it's been amazing.
So anyone listening that complains you have to drive 20 minutes to get your kosher cheese or meat or whatever, put it into perspective. So tell us a bit about your community. I'm sure some people will be familiar, but for those who are not, Northwood
my community is Northwood. We are at northwest, if you want to call it northwest of the city. We are a community around 400 members, and not so young, but we have young people in our community too. Mainly professional people, lawyers. We have someone a supreme judge. Different aspects in the industry, but mainly I would say we are very motivated and as one group in the community. As a unit, we love each other, we help each other, we're very connected. And also in Orthodoxy, we care a lot about Orthodoxy. We are, when I say we, the community puts Orthodoxy as a top, but nevertheless, as observant, maybe not so. We don't have so many Shomer Shabbat in our community. We are we can be very liberal-minded, but sorry about those screams in my ear.
It's all right. We're
very liberal-minded. That's how it is.
Normally it's my kids.
Yeah. So
I have to just tell you, one of the most amazing things about this whole time, I just saw a clip from a news report where some, senior reporter had their kid photo bomb them, video bomb them. And I've interviewed some quite high up sort of proper people, and they've had their kids running. It's great. It's fantastic. We're not taking ourselves as seriously. Anyway, sorry, please carry on. You're saying,
No. So anyway, so it's a community that really cares about education, cares about learning, growth, Jewish learning and growth. As I said, the observant might not be there, but they're willing. They're looking forward for that, and we have a very very busy a program which a lot of people in our community are involved with. We call it the Northwood Hub. So many activities. Right. So there's lots going. A lot is going around for this type of size of a community.
So that's 400 members is small by London standards. Do you see yourselves as part of Northwest in the sort of, or is it a bit more provincial in the sense of not quite? It's not Golders Green Hendon, and that can be a plus.
It's not Golders Green Hendon.
Because you're Northwest, obviously.
Yeah, but we have like a group. We have the Pinner around us, Ruislip, Watford. Yeah. So we have those, area. Bushy is also around the corner. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, we're not Golders Green Hendon. I take my kids, or my wife or me, we take our kids every day to Hendon. So in the morning, in the rush hour, can take us an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and back and forth. So it takes a long time to get to that center. So we are out of the center. You probably know that too. Yeah.
Well, for those listening, the rush hour is what used to happen when you took your kids to school in the morning in the old days.
Yeah, in those days. Yeah.
Are your kids back at school?
Well, technically they opened so I have 3 boys. Reception is open and year 6 is open. Year 4 for the Gemara, but year 3 is not yet open. They didn't open it, but I didn't send neither of my kids because again, it's I think one day it's in the morning, one day it's afternoon, and it's only for an hour. So going back and forth and all that schlep is a big schlep. I think we will start from scratch in September. Yeah.
We've had exactly the same kind of issue. So your community is normally very active. They're very into learning. They're very traditional. How are they coping? How are you coping? And how are they coping with obviously being in lockdown and hopefully now starting to emerge from that, but still very challenging times? Have you gone online with a lot of stuff?
Yeah, of course. I'm Zooming all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing everything we're doing online, activities and shiurim and mishnayos and different other topics. I would say, in the beginning was the peak where everyone was a little bit afraid, they didn't know what's happening. So we had, we got in touch with every one of our community, making sure, that they're okay. And then it went down. People starting to get, used to it. But I think now we're coming also to a kind of a crossroad, which people are getting a little bit also, maybe what's going to happen is going to be a second wave. How long is this going to take? And there are many people that, not like myself, but literally are 4 months in lockdown, even more. Yeah. And it's difficult. So we have to be there for them, and we're calling them and we're talking to them. But all these activities that we do on Zoom, we have quizzes, talks, book, you know how it is, many stuff, and that's the lifeline. That's how they keep alive.
As you say, I've spoken to a lot of people who said, Judaism is all about connection, community is about connection, and yes, you can connect online. We spent years telling our congregants, you can't do online minyanim, you have to be there in person. That's the whole point of community, and now, of course, that's all gone out the window. People are yearning for personal contact and we can talk about the benefits of davening at home and people getting energized for Judaism at home, but at the same time, people go to shul to feel connection, and that's been missing for many people. We've already missed Pesach and Shavuot in shul. It's quite a challenge.
Yeah.
And also, all of us are encouraged to plan and be strategic thinkers and visionaries as rabbis and leaders in our communities, and we have no idea what's around the corner. I'm sure you've started thinking about the high holidays.
Yeah, of course. We have a lot of board meetings, plenty board meetings. But I would say, if you're talking about...
Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm laughing not because you're having board meetings, but everything's changing day to day. So as much as we try to plan, the next day it could change.
Exactly that. We were trying to say we're going to happen this, and then the United Synod comes with a new... many pages of instructions, and we need to change it. You know how it is. But again, that's people are much more involved, and they want to see. I've heard people that would, we asked them to come to the minyan and say, "Oh, Rabbi, I can't," and this and that, and now you're telling them, when is the shul opening? We want to come back. We want to connect. We want to reconnect. And you can see that a lot. But of course, there's a lot of people that are afraid and they're not sure. And I think the minute we come out and if we do it correctly and people will say, okay, listen, it's not so bad. I think also the people that are fearful, they would feel relaxed. Of course, I'm not, pushing anyone to do it, but I think they'll be relaxed to do it.
Have you seen, like many of us, I'm sure you have, an increase in volunteering and community spirit and chesed and it's like the old days, like the war, but a lot of communities have seen that in a very positive way. Presumably you've seen that as well.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Do you think we can hang on to that? Because one of the questions is people have short memories. You know, we go back to shul, we go back to work, we go back to school. Before you know it, life catches up with us again. And all the things we said we learned from, you know, lockdown and coronavirus kind of go out the window. We're all talking about rebooting our shuls and changing things. And
Yeah.
it's so easy to fall
yeah.
into old habits.
I think the Torah is really about adaptation. It's really about understanding, and especially the rabbis, the leader, but it really to understand the situation we are in now and try to take the best out of it, the elements, the strong points, the weak points, and try to you know divert and lead to a correct direction. Every especially when technology and everything is going very fast, as you said, we're going to forget, we're going to move on. There's going to be a new problem. Yesterday was Trump, tomorrow, today's Black Lives Matter, the next day is another thing. We have to be always on top of what's happening today and monitoring it and using it, these tools, in order to, bring us to the correct way of life and the true ethics and the ways of Hashem and the Torah. And that is what it is, but it's always going to change. It's going to become faster and faster and faster. But if we give that platform that, you know, we know how to adapt, and I think people can continue to use this access. Yes.
I must say, you said that very calmly and very, very confidently, and I admire that, because I'm sure many of us are. I mean, think about Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. I said so on the other day. It's the one time of the year we don't have to push people and market shul. They come anyway. We have to obviously have a good product, but the rest of the year we're trying to get people to come Shavuot. What's that? Oh yeah, come along. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is normally the one time of year we don't have to worry about footfall, and suddenly we're looking at a completely different dynamic now, where we have no idea how many people come to shul. We have to find ways to engage them. The assumptions I normally start planning my sermons and practicing my davening, and that's not even on my agenda. We've got much bigger issues. How many of us, and in some ways it's quite daunting. It can be quite very daunting. But I love the way you just expressed that, which is, on the other hand, it's just about adapting, which is what we've always done. Paradigm shift.
I think it might be the first time in Rosh Hashanah that we might push people away. We say, listen, we can't do it. We already have 30 people in our shul. And even though we're the few minyanim, I think, you know, even as a secular community, if you want to call it, that we have, people will want to come and want to do Yizkor, and we'll have to find ways for each person to express that and feel that they're connected this year, especially this year, more than any other year. So that will be a challenge this year. On another aspect, I think this COVID taught us a lot about the connection between media, technology, and religion. As you said, you know, suddenly we didn't talk about minyanim, now we're all on Zoom, but mainly for the kids, mainly for the younger generation, to see that, you know, my kids, even though I don't want it, but they're playing on game and PlayStation, and you know, and how do I educate them? How do I put them, you know, in the correct way? And how do I make it that the media that I do have, the tools that I have, should, instead of derive them away from the way of the Torah, but actually, you know, use these tools in order to get closer to Hashem. And I think that will be the main challenge for the next millennium, or the next generation. How do we combat that? How do we make sure that education and technology could combine? I mean, Jewish education and religious education combine together in a positive way.
It's interesting. There are schools and communities not too far from me, probably from you also, who have, quite understandably, for reasons that we could understand, for hashkafic reasons, for reasons of ideology, did not want to go online.
My children's school. Yeah,
some have done.
Sorry,
go on. Yeah. So have they done phone school? They done.
No. We do the phones. We do this, but they said no Zoom.
Right.
I think personally, it's a wrong decision. Even though technically you're not supposed to have computers in your house, and I don't know what, but the majority of the people within that school have that.
Right.
And I think it's a big. You've
picked upon the challenge of using that in a positive way and embracing it, and the challenge is understandably why people don't want it. And look, in today's world, I'm a governor of a school. There's a lot of discussion about social media and the dangers and so on. Nothing to do with hashkafa. That's a whole different issue. Just to do with cyberbullying and time wasting and safeguarding. There's so many aspects to it, and there is a case that says it's a real shame that many of us and many of our children are now sitting in front of a screen all day, for our work, for our learning, for our davening, for our schooling. We've been trying to get away from that for years, but as you say, we adapt. It is a challenge. It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah,
Have you thought, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on sort of, as communities get back to shul, I don't know if have you had regular davening online in your community?
yeah, we have regular, not regular, but we have on
Right.
every other day on the mornings
Okay.
we have prayers, and
Right.
we are planning to start
Right.
from Shabbos,
Right.
not through the weekend, not through the week, just on
Yeah.
Shabbat,
So I was
and
going, so I was going to ask you,
but I don't know how fast that will be. We'll
right.
see when we'll do that.
But also, have you thought, I'm curious what different communities are doing, this challenge that until now we've all been davening together either at home or on Zoom or whatever, and we've all been equal. As we go back to shul and we daven in person, even if we live stream that during the week or Friday night as permitted, it will create a sort of two-tier kind of community. There'll be people who are at home because they're shielding, could be someone saying Kaddish, but they're at home because they're shielding, and there'll be the people that go to shul. And finding that balance between doing online stuff and at the same time getting back to face-to-face stuff, I think is going to be very challenging.
Yeah, I think it's all about relationship. It's all about personal relationship. If we manage in the minyanim, in the shul, to give the viewer a taste that he is part of it. So okay, now we're going to do some mishaberach. Yes, we have someone online. Please tell the name and communicate or make them involved. Then they will feel part, and they will feel part of the community. I've seen many rabbis, without saying names, but for the positive, I see them every day on Facebook, on a live, doing this, communicating with the community. Fantastic. And it's all about staying in that connection. Of course, each community is different, but you have to. And some people won't come to the minyanim, and some people will maybe even not log on, but they need to know that the synagogue is functioning. They need to know that something is happening. If they feel that everything is empty, then they disconnect.
It's interesting what you say that, because in today's social media world, we put a lot of stuff on Facebook. I often feel like we're not doing so much actually, but that we put it all on our sort of Facebook groups, and I'll have people from other communities say, wow, there's so much going on in your community, or our own members saying, I can't really make it to shul, but it's great to see there's so much going on. So actually there is value in people knowing that the community is vibrant, even if they're not engaging with it always. Are you finding more people engaging online that don't come in person? Not because of health reasons, but because of things like the anonymity.
I think especially in the secular hub, in our activities, there's many aspects to it that that they come to and they enjoy. That people, especially elderly people that cannot come, usually they do come. Sure. And there's also the we're talking about lots of stuff, but there's also the issue of overloading. And especially today, everything is overloading, and the expectations we have. Why didn't you watch this, or why didn't you watch that, or is so much out there, and even competition. As a rabbi, I believe maybe people will say, oh, Rabbi, why didn't you do like this other synagogue or this other community? Oh, you saw they got that person. Why didn't you? So the exposure of the communities, the members is bigger and wider, and then the pressure is wait, why don't we do like so? Kinat sofim tarbeh chokhmah. But in the meantime, sometimes it brings pressure where it shouldn't be. And
our rabbis are human, as we know, and I don't know if you had anyone in your community say at the beginning of this, oh, you'll get a few months off. Many colleagues had that. People don't always realize many of us have our kids at home. We have our kids at home. We are still working full time. We're key workers essentially. Somebody from a very successful, which to me appears to be a very successful, very active shul, said to me very interestingly, said he thinks one of the biggest challenges is because of all this online stuff, it's very easy to say, oh, so-and-so's doing every day, they're doing this, why are we not doing that? You can either say it to yourself, or your congregants can say it to you, or you feel it, and that kind of pressure is not always healthy. And because we're so online now, you can join anything anywhere in the world. It's a lot easier to say, well, why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing that? And it's hard sometimes to know your limitations and to look after your own sort of mental health and so on. It's one of the downsides of all this joined up sort of collaboration and online stuff. It's very easy to just, end up getting caught up in what everyone else is doing. But the beauty of it is they can log on to someone else's stuff now. So they don't need you to do.
But that's why I said the key role, I think, is again, it's personal relationship. That no matter how much information you have online, no matter how much communities you see doing this and that, it's not relationship. And I think people are today more than ever are looking for that relationship. You're their rabbi. They will talk to you. You will communicate with them. That is something that is unique to your position.
And geographical distance has been irrelevant to many people the last 3 months, interestingly. So somebody is going to come to your, I don't know, Friday night service or your shir, not because they live in Northwood right now, because actually they could go to a shir anywhere in the world online. They're going to do it, as you said, because it's a connection to you and to their community. I don't know how much you've engaged with the sort of central US things like the Friday night. We've had interesting discussions about a few programs where shuls have got together, communities have got together. It's been a national program, which is great. In many communities, the experience is that people like to go on Zoom, see 20 of their friends on the sofa Friday night and have a schmooze. When it's 2,000 people around the world, it's a great feeling, but it's a very different vibe, as you say.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. But that also takes us to another issue, which is now the time to introduce virtual communities. Technically on Shabbos you can't do it, but other than Shabbat, I do think that the world is going to that point. You do need personal rabbi. You need a rabbi with his hub, with his group to communicate. But does it matter the location where you live anymore?
Right.
Maybe not necessarily.
I mean, the proliferation of sites with shiurim and videos and Torah is already, the average person, if they want to learn something, they might well go to one of the many wonderful websites, aish.com, chabad.org, United Synagogue, whatever website it is, Torah.org, there's many. You don't need your local rabbi, actually. And you don't need to live in Northwest London or Stamford Hill to find a shir locally, because actually you can find stuff online. And the beauty of online is it's anonymous also. So nobody has to know that you want to know how to put on tefillin because you don't know, or how to say Kaddish, which I found quite positive for a lot of people as well. I guess it makes all of us, we have to up our game a bit and make sure that we're relevant to people, as you said, on a personal level.
Yeah, but again, that's self-motivated. One of the ideas is that you need a motivator. So if you want a mentor or motivator, and you say, okay, just look on Google, you will never do it. But if you have a rabbi that is making sure, wait a second, did you do that? Did you check that? So you have this, I wouldn't say fear, but this kind of relationship that you want to make sure that you are up to date on things. That is the purpose of a rabbi. Anyway, this is interesting. Yeah.
I'll just ask you, because as you were chief rabbi of Bulgaria, I think this is quite relevant actually. One aspect of this also, though, which is interesting, is I'll give you an example. In the old days, I still can't remember if quinoa is kitniot or not. I don't eat it personally, but it's always a great discussion. Or is sunflower oil kitniot on Pesach or not? So in the old days, you went to the Rav in the shtetl, he told you the halacha, and that was it. You didn't know that in the next shtetl over, they do eat it, or they don't eat it, or they bring Shabbos in earlier. Now, of course, you'll have a situation where you as a Rav in a community will say, I don't know, you should stand for the 10 Commandments, or sit for the 10 Commandments, or you can eat sunflower oil, or you can eat, whatever it is. And somebody will say, oh, but I just Googled it, or my cousin in Israel told me that the rabbi not do this. And actually, we don't have local communities anymore, because people in our communities, they don't just look to the local Rav for the sack. They may well respect, hopefully they do respect it, but they're much more informed. And people will know what they do in America, what they do in Israel, what they do here, what they do there, what they do in Pinner or Watford. And it does make it definitely a lot more challenging, actually, the globalization. People have much more knowledge, they have much more awareness. People come back with different customs from different places they've been to. It's a very changed world in that regard. And that's also one of the things that the online world has brought, which can be quite a challenge.
Yeah. But this is individuals, but organizations in the end needs to listen to a specific body.
Sure.
And that's when you talk about chief rabbi. In the end, you have an organization, you have a community. They need to ask him, okay, do we do this or don't we do that? So I'll give you an example. An interesting. I went to the chief rabbi that time of Yerushalayim, or the chief rabbi of Israel, but then now he's the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim, Rabbi Amar. And I asked him, could we check the back of the cow? So all the chelev and whatever it is on the backbone. So the specific the back part of the cow.
The rump steak. Yeah.
Yeah. So he said to me, my question was, is it as a chief rabbi allowed to do this ruling or not? So we talked about it. Is Europe, they have a total ban, and we shouldn't touch it at all. It was it was a takana of all of Europe, not of is Bulgaria part of it. Anyway, we won't go into the discussion. But as a rabbi, as of a community, of a country, if you want to call it like that, I have an authority to go by this halachot. All details in shechita too. Do we follow the custom of the Sephardi custom, or the custom of the rabbi, or the custom of the place? Lots of things regarding custom, especially in Bulgaria, which the following of the Torah is not great. You know, they had the communists, and there was not really a tradition over there. Mm. Does the rabbi that come there could make his own tradition or not? Anyway, so that gives a little bit of independence in the rabbi's position in that ruling. Yeah.
I have a friend who took a position, I won't say where for obvious reasons. And, you know, in board meetings, they would say, oh, but the old rabbi used to do this and used to that. He said, no, so pay him a salary. Why are you paying me a salary?
Yeah.
But now you don't have these kind of challenges. You have a kind of a certain uniformity, obviously, in certainly things like kashrut and so on.
It's more education. It's more. Yeah. I'm also learning. I'm learning in a Dayanut program, so that also will take some years. So it's a different headset.
Right. So just for anyone listening, obviously, normally for Smicha, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if it's different. People learn you mentioned shechita before. People learn a lot of the aspects of shechita and all the salting of meat, which our grandparents did back in the old days, possibly in Bulgaria, people still doing. Over here, no one even knows what that is anymore. Even the rabbis don't know what it is because we don't do it. And for Dayanut, you would study topics to do with civil matters and marriage and divorce and things like that.
Version,
So that sounds very interesting, actually. Are you at a theoretical stage? Have you had any shimush? Have you been out sort of in the field?
No, I'm just on my second or almost third year. But no, it'll take some time, take a few years. Yeah. But of course, we have a little bit of shimush we see with Gittin and things like that. Yeah. But it's more the learning side of things.
Again, I'm almost afraid to say this in a public, or it will be a public forum, but as congregational rabbis, we often sort of are shielded from a lot of that stuff because it happens in the Beis Din. Actually, I think it would be a good thing for all of us to spend a few days sort of shadowing the Dayanim, seeing good old-fashioned. When I was in Liverpool, Rabbi Dan Liedman, who's now in Australia, was my colleague. Fortunately, somebody phoned me up and said 2 hours before Shabbos, they had a shiloh on a chicken. They had a whole chicken and there was some blood or something, and I said, no, it's just juice. He said, no, believe me, it's blood. Anyway, they brought it around to my house and they were very apologetic, and Rabbi Dan Liedman came around, thank God, because he'd studied shechita properly. I hadn't. I didn't remember any of it. It was too theoretical from smicha, and we had a proper old-fashioned shiloh. We took a picture. We said, somebody brought their chicken to the Rav. This hasn't happened in 20 years or whatever.
Wow.
He was apologizing to us. We're like, don't apologize. This is, that's what the rabbis used to do. I think in the end, it turned out it was problematic. And the interesting thing was, because her mother used to, I can't remember what they call it, where they boil the whole chicken and they string it up and whatever, she'd seen this problem. Had she just kind of thrown it in the pot, wouldn't have even noticed. But yeah, you don't get those kind of shilohs most of the time.
Very good. Fantastic.
So good luck with your Dayanut studies. Sounds absolutely fascinating. Where are you doing that through?
Through the Montefiore Endowment, through S&P, nice. Yes. Yeah. We have some nice...
So for those who don't know, that is homegrown. It's homegrown Dayanut in the UK. Rabbi Zerbib, I think we're almost out of time, but thank you so much for your time. What do you do? I'm looking at you, for those who can see the video, it looks like you're in the city of London. Northwood is more corporate than I imagined, but
yes.
That's also the joys of virtual technology. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm sitting here in my office with piles of stuff. I'll get to it one day. What do you do to relax? How do you switch off?
How do I switch off?
Do you switch off?
Do I switch off? It's a good question. I think I have to get out a little bit. But with the kids, the kids are all day here, so we're having fun, especially when I see my youngsters. They give me a lot of joy, and we have a nice garden. Also, we go outside, chill out a little bit, maybe watch a film here and there, but not much. I don't go out much. I think we definitely need a vacation soon. Yeah.
That's the other thing we all talk about, with everyone going back to shul and so on, all the rabbis are going to need a vacation soon. But many of us are finding that, Shabbat used to be the most busy day of the week, and it's the strangest thing that now it's family time.
It's a mechaya. I have so much time just to learn without technology. I can learn, and that's the best, and especially the summers, it's a long one, so it's even better. You have a lot of time to learn with the family. and I don't want to be too happy about it because
I hate to break it to you, but you might be back in shul soon. You might.
Exactly. But it's very good. Baruch Hashem. Shabbos is generally it's always the makor for the whole week.
Sure.
It's a source.
Any closing message for those listening? Words of inspiration.
I just wanted to say, Rabbi, that I'm really appreciative of this meeting, because I think communication, talking to other rabbis, it's just you're doing bikur cholim to me. You're making me happy. We're having the discussion. I didn't go to a base medrash for a long time, and it's really important. So I appreciate that, your initiative and your community, and hopefully we can do many other things together with Allah.
Sounds like a good plan. Amen. Wish you success with everything.
Thank you.
And good health for you and your family. You should continue with all the wonderful work you're doing. Have nachas from your community. Only good things. Thank you so much for your time.
Shukar. Thank you.